Sometimes mentioning a single car model is enough to define an entire brand. That is exactly the story behind the three letters RS6. Those carry a huge weight and pride in the automotive history. Some people would argue that this is the most important Audi model ever, together with the icons like the R8, TT or the original Quattro. In this video here, I'd like to do a tribute to the 2026 Audi RS6 C8 Performance. I believe this is one of the last models without any sort of electrification, if the prediction of the future is correct. Welcome to Auditography. I have been a photo and videographer for the brand for over 20 years. I am a collector of some very unique four-ringed icons myself, and I have also made the viral movie Speak Up for Audi. That led me to even meet the CEO, and many people high up in the company are my friends. The four rings is my lifestyle. Join me here in this new emotional video. I had this lovely RS6 C8 Performance for a few very cold winter days. It was one of my toughest shoots I've had since the temperatures went down to -20 degrees Celsius with strong winds and the sun just wouldn't peep through the clouds. But as always, I did my very best to awaken emotions from you, the viewer. So, let us do this. The Audi RS6 was first presented in 2002 when the C5 generation made its debut. It had a 4.2-liter V8 biturbo engine with 450 horses and was one of the most powerful cars in the world at that time. The next generation, the C6, came out in 2008 with a menacing 5-liter TwinTurbo V10 engine producing 580 horses. It still is the most insane powertrain Audi has ever put in a car. The C5 and the C6 were available both as sedan and Avant, while the successor, the C7, which came out in 2013, was Avant only. That was because the RS7 Sportback entered Audi's model range and there was no need for two sedans. Also, the RS2 and the RS4 B5 were Avants only as well, so it was a trademark for Audi to make high-performance wagons. The C7 RS6 had a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that pumped out 560 horses as a normal version and a 605 horsepower upgrade for the performance. To me, the C7 is still today the greatest RS6 ever made. I have been a proud owner of a C7.5 for many years now, and I can't imagine a better car. This one here, the C8 Performance, is not far behind it. The C8 RS6 was presented in 2019 and got the Performance package in 2023. This very car was spec'd in Sapphire Pearl Effect exterior with an Audi exclusive interior. Powered also here by a twin-turbo V8 just as the previous generation, but pumping out 630 horses this time, which made it the most powerful RS6 up to date. Now let's talk about how the C8 RS6 looks. This generation is simply gorgeous, mean and beefy from all angles. I remember when I met the designer of it, Mark Licht, back in the end of 2018 in the LA Motor Show. And he told me he was very excited about the C8 RS version because they were going to be one of the most aggressive and beefy Audi designs ever. And he sure wasn't lying. Another highly respectable person at Audi, Mr. Stefan Farbbecker, who designed the C7 S6 and RS6 for example, came up with this idea to share the front lights from the Audi A7 on the RS6. Just that saved €7 million for the project. Because parts like the front bumper including all meshes, the rear bumper inserts and rocker insert with carbon variants could be carry-over parts between the RS6 and RS7. And the engineers and designers were able to justify for a new bonnet for the first time on the RS6, with power dome still included in the cost and paid from the savings. At that period of time, especially after the Dieselgate, an implementation of a V8 on the C8 platform was super expensive, and the employees tried to find money everywhere. Also, to finally give a wide body to the broader RS7 C8 for the first time. This RS6 Performance here is equipped with the carbon fiber optics. It surely looks beautiful, but I would like to throw in my 2 cents here. See, I personally am so tired of the blackout everything trend. Remember back in the days when you saw the brushed aluminum mirrors and grille from far, far away? You knew a beastly Audi S or RS was coming your way. This black optics on a dark color like here hides the shapes and the details of such a beautiful machine. So my wish here is that it would have the brushed aluminum logos, mirrors, wheels, grille frame and window lists. It would carry over more heritage in my opinion. The C8 RS6 is one of the last Audis with a proper historic Audi font in both the front and rear badges and of course the Audi logos. What is going on in the new cars with the Temu looking badges is something I have covered so much already. Just as with the removal of the front badges on the recent S and RS models, which now they have brought back in a lazy effort only showing half of the badge. I really hope that they will come to their senses soon. And I really hope that the C9 RS6 will proudly show its full RS6 badge in the front. Cause if it doesn't, expect a storm from the Audi owners. They've had enough of this cost-cutting madness that almost ruined a legendary brand as Audi. I am also a big fan of the head and taillight design on this C8. No horrendous split head and taillights in sight. And also no light bar in the back, which 90% of the cars have today. The signature light dance is still one of the coolest in the automotive industry and so much better than the generic C9 lights that just are not exciting enough. The C9 generation has gotten lots of criticism for its Asian looking split taillights. I hope it will be the quickest redesign in the history. So looking at this beautiful C8 RS6 here, I can't do anything else but admire its Audi DNA design. The interior of the C8 generation has always been well received by the owners, fans, enthusiasts and journalists. Nobody really complained about much here. I myself prefer the C7 interior over the C8, especially because of the presence of more physical buttons and the MMI knob. I go more in detail on that in my C7 Audi S6 tribute film. But the C8 interior works fine as well. The climate control screen, despite being a touchscreen, is placed in such an easy-to-reach location right in front of your hand on the gear shifter that it doesn't remove your focus from the driving that much. It works. Cause it was designed by people who knew what they were doing and knew what Audi's identity was. Something you cannot say about what came after. The C9 interior is such a massive letdown with the gazillion screens, a confusing user interface, non-configurable virtual cockpit, the gearshift nibbler, piano black everywhere, and just an overall drop of quality and ergonomics. And let's talk about that virtual cockpit here in the C8 for a while. It's such perfection, both in the design and the configuration. You can choose from many well thought out looks on the cluster with just one button click. How did they do the C8 so well after it was so praised? And the C9 got completely butchered is beyond my understanding. Also, I probably have driven over 100 C8 platform cars in the past 5 years. And being an owner of a C7 RS6 where I have the so usable storage compartment for my glasses above my head, it really disturbs me that they have removed it here in the C8. I have it also on my B8 Q5 and the B8.5 RS4. Simplicity and smart design. Why are usable things like this being removed? Something else that I really miss in the C8 RS6 is the full definition logos on the seats, the steering wheel, and mostly in the otherwise so loved virtual cockpit. You can still see the full RS6 logo in the side list, but that's it. The rest only shows RS. It seems like this is the time where they lost quite a lot of their identity and the attention to the smallest details that the average Audi owner appreciates so much. When I start up my C7 RS6, a lovely model definition comes up in the cluster. Here in the top of the line RS6 C8 Performance, when you start it up, a model definition is nowhere to be seen. You would think you're driving an A6 TDI. Details. It's all about the details. Like for example, the lovely Quattro badge on the passenger side that has been there for 40 years. That is completely removed and forgotten in the C9. It is embarrassing. The steering wheel here is one of the most beautiful ones that Audi has ever designed. You can feel the quality, proper and usable buttons, and the lovely airbag cover with the iconic brushed aluminum rings in front of you. We all know the massive downfall of the latest Audi steering wheel when you now get a Temu design one, with a terrible airbag sticker look-alike logo and annoying haptic buttons. Therefore, the overall feel of the C8 interior is still pretty darn amazing. It will age like fine wine and always remind us that we still design car interiors with emotion and brains. Now to something that I praise the C8 RS6 Performance so much on, and that is how it handles and drives. It dances around every corner like a ballerina thanks to the magical suspension and the four-wheel steering. The way it throws out the rear in curves sends the term Audi just understeers far out the window. It's really impressive how this beast handles and just gives you so much smile on your face. And the sound? Take a listen. So as you can hear, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Is it better than the C7? Not even close. The C7 RS6 comes from a time with no regulations, soft limiters or annoying filters. I still can't understand what Audi was thinking when they put a soft limiter on this very car. It removes so much feel and soul. And also what the C8 Performance needs is an exhaust upgrade. That's one of the first things I would change if I would buy this car. It sounds good, it does, but not great, and it doesn't knock your socks off. And it's also a bit underwhelming comparing to the newly designed and developed exhaust on the RS8 Performance. The launch control in the Audi RS6 C8 Performance is absolutely impressive. The way this 2.2-ton boat launches is just mind-boggling. I don't care if an electric car can do it faster. This one does it with all the drama that you need. It's not about how fast you go to 100, it's about how you do it. The 3.1 second times here is quite impressive. Cold, hot, summer, winter, rain or fog, it doesn't matter. It will still grip and catapult you with a proper Torse and Quattro system in a way hardly any supercar can. The Audi RS6 C8 Performance will go down in history as the last proper driver's car. From now on, everything will be hybrid or electric. It's hard times for a true car enthusiast. We will get heavier cars with less soul. I really hope that Audi comes to their senses and awakens emotion in their future models like they have done for decades. I think many people would call this the perfect car that does everything right. And I mostly agree. It's surely not cheap, but neither are the competitors in its class. So if you have the money and want to buy something that looks amazing, has a great and usable interior, and most of all, makes you smile when you drive it, then this is the car for you. If you can't afford it, wait a little to get a second-hand one, or look into the C7 RS6, which will make you smile even more and is the greatest RS6 ever, in my opinion. Nevertheless, it doesn't take away the greatness from the C8 RS6 Performance, which is a true Audi inside and out. And it is freaking awesome. Thank you for watching.